Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we will learn about the fundamentals of C++ programming. You can install code blocks or any C++ IDE if you do not already have it installed. We will cover topics such as variables, data types, operators, control flow statements, arrays, functions, and classes. Let's get started. The first line is the #include statement. It is used to include the contents of another file into the current file. The third line is the using namespace std, which is used to bring all the identifiers from the std namespace into the global namespace. Okay, here, this is the main function in C++. And it returns integer to indicate success. And cout is used to print output string to the console. And the main function in C++ is not part of any class. The main function is the entry point of all C++ programs. The very first thing we are going to cover is comments. This is a single line comment in C++. Like in other languages, it's created with 2 dashes followed by any text that you want to comment out. This is multiline comment in C++. Any text that is between the /* and */ characters will be ignored by the compiler. And that is commenting in C++. We'll now move on to discussing variables and data types. Variables start with a letter, but they can contain additional letters, underscore, numbers, but they must start with a letter. To declare a variable, you indicate the type and variable name. Int number equals 10. Other data types that are available are double, const double, pi equals 3.14, strings, string, subject equals, mathematics, characters, character grade equals 8. Booleans, bool past equals true. Floats, float other pi equals 3.14. And of course, if you want to output one of these variables, you can use the cout function. Cout, insertion operator. Today's random number is insertion operator. Number. End line. We then run it. There you can see, today's random number is 10. And of course, there are other data types that are available. We have long integer, which is going to be at least 32 bits. Long integer, which is going to be at least 64 bits. Short int, which is going to be 16 bits. Unsigned int, which is going to be the same size as signed int. Long double, greater than double. And that's just a brief look into the different data types in C++. And, if you want to find out the number of bits for a data type, you can use the sizeof function. Size of double. Sizeof function, passing pi as parameter. Then run it. Size of double is 8 because we defined pi we passed as double. Let's clear this. The next thing we are going to cover is operators. Operators are used to perform operations on data. Some of the most common operators in C++ are arithmetic operators. Addition operator adds two operands. Subtraction operator subtracts second operand from first. Multiplication operator multiplies both operands. Division operator divides numerator by denominator. Modulus operator returns remainder after division. Increment operator increase integer value by 1. Decrement operator decrease integer value by 1. Paste that. Let us run it. Using addition operator to add 2 to number. Multiplication operator to multiply number by 2. Division operator to divide number by 2. Modulus operator to get remainder after division. Increment operator to increase number by 1. And finally, decrease operator to decrease number by 1. Let's delete this. And then, relational operators. They are used to compare two values. Commonly used in if statements, they return either true or false. Equality operator checks if the value of two operands are equal or not. If equal, the condition becomes true. Inequality operator checks if the value of two operands are equal or not. If they are not equal, true is returned. Greater than operator checks if the value of left operand is greater than the value of right operand. Less than operator checks if the value of left operand is less than the value of right operand. Greater or equal operator checks if the value of left operand is greater than or equal to the value of right operand. Less or equal operator checks if the value of left operand is less than or equal to the value of right operand. Let's output an example. And run it. If condition is true, 1 is returned. If condition is false, 0 is returned. And, as you can see, 1 stands for true, and 0 stands for false. Now, let's discuss logical operators and if statements. Logical operators are used to combine logical expressions. Just like relational operators, logical operators are commonly used with if statement. We have the AND operator. If both the operands are non-zero, then condition becomes true. Or operator. If any of the two operands is non-zero, then condition becomes true. Not operator, used to reverse the logical state of its operand. If a condition is true, then not operator will make false. Let's look at an example on how we can use these. Double mark equals 60. Bool. No plagiarism. equals true, bool, did submit, equals true, if mark greater than or equal to 40 and mark less than or equal to 49. Cout. Insertion operator. Write supplementary exam. Else. If not plagiarized. Cout. End line. Redo assignments. Else. If mark less than 40 or not did submit. Failed. Else. Passed. Let's run it. Passed because Boolean variable no plagiarism was initialized to true, and that's how you use logical operators and if-else statements. Now, let's have a look at switch statement in C++. This will typically be used when you need to execute one of several blocks of code, depending on the value of an expression. Int digit equals 3. Add switch statement. Case 1. Cout. 1 end line. Case 2. Output that to the screen. 2 end line. Case 3. 3 end line. And then we will do the same for the other two cases. 4 there. 5 there. 4 5. Under default we write 0. 0 end line. Don't need break after default. Then run it. We get 3 because value of digit is initialized to 3. That's basically all you needed to know about switch statements. Now, let's have a look at ternary operators. If the condition is true, the value of the entire expression is expression 1, otherwise it is expression 2. Here's an example of how you can use the ternary operator in C++. String result. Result equals num greater than 0 question mark positive colon non-positive. Output the result. The number is result end line. Then run it. In this example, I initialized a variable named num to 10. I then used the ternary operator to check if num was greater than 0. If the condition was true, I assign the value positive to the variable result. Otherwise, I assign the value non-positive to result. That's why we got positive in this case. Now, for loops. For loops are typically used in C++ to repeat a block of code a known number of times. Here is an example, with 3 different use cases. Case 1. Print numbers from 1 to 5 using a for loop. For loop. Less or equal to. Output. I space. Output. End line. Case 2. Calculate the sum of numbers from 1 to 10 using a for loop. Int sum equals 0. For loop. Starting at 1. Up to 10. Sum, add an assignment operator, j. Output. The sum is sum end line. Case 3. Iterate over an array using a for loop. Int numbers equals elements 1 to 5. Output. Array elements. For loop. Output numbers k space end line. Then run it. Case 1, I printed numbers from 1 to 5. Case 2, I calculated the sum of numbers from 1 to 10. And case 3, I iterated over an array, all using a for loop. Now, while loops. The while loop is a control flow statement that allows you to repeat a block of code as long as a given condition is true. We will use the same example to demonstrate while by simply replacing for loops with while loops. While. We will declare a variable called I to use as a counter. Remove this while. While I is less than or equal to 5. Increment I. It's a while loop, so we add a counter. We do the same for case 2. While int j equals 1. Remove while j is less than or equal to 10. Increment j. I to j. Same again for case 3. While int k equals to 0. While k less than 5. K. Increment k. Run it. Again, printed numbers from 1 to 5 using a while loop. Calculated the sum of numbers from 1 to 10 using while loop. Iterated over an array using a while loop. And those are while loops. Do while loop. The do while loop is a control flow statement that allows you to repeat a block of code as long as a given condition is true, but with the difference that the condition is checked at the end of the loop. Again, we will use previous example and convert while into do while loop. Do. Copy that to the bottom. Comma. Do. Do the same for case 2. Do. Copy that. Do. Add condition at the end. And don't forget the comma. The same for case 3. Do. Add condition at the end. Comma. Run it. Case 1. Again, printed numbers from 1 to 5 using a do while loop. Case 2. Calculated the sum of numbers from 1 to 10 using a do while loop. Case 3. Iterated over an array using a while loop. And those are control flow statements in C++. Now, arrays. Arrays are useful for storing multiple elements of the same type and accessing them using indices. Here is an example. Creating an array of integers. Int numbers equals elements 1 to 5. Accessing elements of the array. Output. The first element is numbers index 0, end line. Output. The third element is numbers index 2, end line. Modifying elements of the array. Numbers index 1 gets 10. Output. Modified second element. Numbers index 1 end line. Iterating over the array. Output. All elements in the array. Add for loop. Output. Numbers index I space. Output. End line. Run that. Accessing any element of the array using the indexing operator. Also modified element of the array using the indexing operator. Here, iterated over the array. And that is how you use arrays in C++. Now, Functions. Functions in C++ allow you to encapsulate reusable blocks of code, improving code organization and modularity. They can accept input parameters and return values, allowing you to perform specific operations and abstract away complex functionality. Here is an example of using functions in C++. Function declaration. Int add numbers. Int A, int B. Function definition. Int add numbers. Int A, int B. Returns A plus B. Function with no return value. Void greet. With parameters const, string and name. Output. Hello. Name. And move to the next line. Then inside main. Function call. Int result equals add numbers, passing 5 and 10 as arguments. Output. Result. Result. End line. And then, finally, the function calls. Function call. Greet. Passing Mike as an argument. Run it. We get 15 here because we passed 5 and 10 to function add numbers, and might because it's the string argument we passed to the greet function. And that is functions in C++. Now, finally classes. Classes in C++ allow you to define custom data types that encapsulate data and related behavior. They provide a blueprint for creating objects with specific attributes and methods. Classes enable you to organize and modularize your code, promoting code reuse and maintainability. Here is a good example how they are used in C++. Let's first include a string library. Remove this stuff. Class definition. Class person, open brackets. Private. String name. Int age. Public. Constructor. Person with parameters const, string and n, int a. Initializing the corresponding member variables. Name with n, age with a. And close that. Member function. Void introduce. Output. Hello, my name is name and I am age years old. End line. In main. Create an object of the person class. Person data type, person with parameters. String Alice and integer 25. Call the member function. Person.introduce. Run it. We get, "Hello, my name is Nicole and I am 25 years old." Because we passed string Nicole and integer 25 to the constructor while creating person object. And those are classes or objects in C++. This is just a brief introduction to C++ programming. There is much more to learn about C++, but this should give you a good foundation to start with. If you are interested in learning more about C++, there are many resources available online and in libraries. You can also find many C++ programming tutorials on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.